This is Visoko Hill, looming over the town of Visoko in central Bosnia and Herzegovina. Its sharp geometric profile stands in direct contradiction to the standard geomorphological consensus of the region. For decades, conventional archaeology has classified structures like this as either natural anomalies or monumental tombs. But recent multidisciplinary analyses of this specific site suggest a different interpretation. Instead, a growing body of researchers argues this complex is an anthropogenic functional energy amplifier, a machine deliberately tuned to emit frequencies at 28.5 kHz. Testing a hypothesis of this magnitude requires 3 independent streams of empirical data. This wireframe model maps them: the subterranean stratigraphy of the tunnel network below, the spatial geodesy of the surface geometry, and the computational electromagnetics radiating from the peak. The physical scale of these formations requires a deviation from standard surface-level surveys. To map these relationships, researchers employ a methodology prioritized by empirical physics and subterranean stratigraphy. Validating the energy amplifier hypothesis requires us to look past mainstream assumptions and analyze the raw data of how the site was built and the specific energy it emits. We start by establishing a geological baseline deep underground, slowly navigating our way through the extensive and ancient Ravne tunnel network. The host geology is an Upper Miocene conglomerate. It is a highly cohesive formation, created by rounded river pebbles tightly cemented within a sandy clay matrix. But as researchers mapped the passages, they encountered a distinct sedimentological anomaly. Massive sections of these tunnels are packed entirely with poorly sorted, unconsolidated infill. This cross-section illustrates the problem. Look at the contact plane between the hard geological host matrix and the loose anthropogenic infill. The boundary line is incredibly sharp. A natural geological cave-in leaves a graded mix. A distinct interface indicates a deliberate, manual backfilling process. The stratigraphic evidence rules out the idea that the Ravne tunnels are a purely natural karstic cave system. They are heavily and intentionally modified voids. That intentional modification is further confirmed by dry stone walls, built entirely without mortar, constructed directly alongside the tunnel infill. Establishing an absolute timeline for when these subterranean interventions occurred is difficult because the site shows clear evidence of multi-period use. We can set an initial chronological baseline by dating secondary calcite deposits, or speleothems. Radiocarbon analysis of these crystal formations confirms that the subterranean voids were open and exposed to dripping water by approximately 5400 BCE. Yet, when researchers radiocarbon tested organic materials trapped inside the unconsolidated infill, the results pointed to modification and sealing events occurring much later, between the 15th and 17th centuries CE. This photograph shows how the underground interventions mirror activity above ground. Here, archaeologists are excavating massive, flat, concrete-like slabs on the flanks of the hill, materials laboratory tested to possess exceptionally high compressive strength. This vast timeline of physical interaction points to a continuously managed, integrated subterranean and surface environment, laying the foundation for a much larger engineered system. Moving from subterranean geology to macro-surface geometry, modern satellite and LiDAR data reveal an even stricter level of organization. The northern face of the Sun Pyramid aligns to true north, with a deviation of only 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and 12 seconds.
This topographic map charts the spatial layout of the valley, dropping markers on the precise peaks of the Sun, Moon, and Dragon pyramids and the Vratnita tumulus. When connected, these specific apexes align precisely along a Fibonacci spiral, scaling outward based on the golden ratio. As seen at the Great Pyramid of Giza, this proportional arrangement is a recognized mathematical principle in global megalithic architecture, implying large-scale, intentional spatial planning. How do researchers objectively distinguish deliberate human intervention from an extreme, isolated geological coincidence? They apply a Monte Carlo simulation, a computational algorithm designed to model the exact probability of the site's natural occurrence. This matrix displays the 6 tested variables: geometric shape, true north orientation, material strength, electromagnetic emissions, acoustic coherence, and spatial alignment. The simulation intersects these through 10 million randomized iterations.
The final statistical probability they co-occur in nature is 0.000097%. This near-zero probability mathematically mandates an anthropogenic origin, forcing the investigation to ask what the structure was actually built to do. The functional mechanism of the site becomes clear when examining the continuous 28.5 kHz electromagnetic and ultrasound emissions recorded directly at the pyramid's apex. This grainy photograph illustrates the source: natural lightning discharges. These global strikes constantly generate very low-frequency electromagnetic impulses, known as VLF atmospherics. These natural impulses propagate globally through the waveguide formed by the Earth's surface and the lower ionosphere, traveling vast distances with minimal energy loss. This computational simulation maps how the pyramid interacts with atmospheric electric potential, calculating the electrical resistivities of air, soil, and stone blocks. The pyramid's specific geometry warps the natural electric field, creating a high-density charge zone, a localized sun disk shape right at the apex. The structure essentially acts as a massive antenna and rectifier. It captures transient VLF atmospherics and converts them into a continuous, stable 28.5 kHz signal. Deep underground, a piezoelectric transduction mechanism takes over. Quartz crystals embedded in the tunnel conglomerate physically convert this 28.5 kHz electromagnetic wave into the coherent mechanical ultrasound recorded by researchers in the passages. The site's surface geometry, construction materials, and internal voids form a highly tuned machine designed to harvest and amplify Earth's background electromagnetism. The legacy of the Visoko Valley reveals a lost prehistoric application of terrestrial physics and electromagnetic engineering.